And are we all instructors today, or are there some students here as well? I should say like instructors and staff, or are there students here as well?
So Dr. Wiley, would it be okay if we went around and let everyone introduce themselves?
That would be great.
All right. So again, I'll get started. Pat Gray, I'm part of the empowerment team, supporting West Virginia and also liaison with our partners in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. So, Mr. Chris, do you want to go next?
Yeah, Barry Christ, currently retired and working with Dr. D'Antoni. It don't sound right, retired and working, but Dr. D'Antoni and I have been friends for many, many years, and we're working together on the empowerment project.
All right. If we can go to Midland Trail, you've got a room full, I think.
I'm Candace Young. I teach 6th and 7th grade math here at Midland Trail.
Allison Russell, I teach 7th and 8th grade English.
I'm Emily Lively. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I have art in STEM.
And Richard Pettit, I'm the principal. We also plan to have students next time, but we currently have students taking benchmark assessments. So,
Very good.
All right. And we'll go to Fayetteville Pre-K 8. Oh, Melissa, you're on mute.
I'm Melissa Hera. I'm the principal at Fayetteville.
Okay. And Meta Bridge.
My name's Stacy White. I'm the principal at Meta Bridge.
Charles Redden, assistant principal at Meta Bridge.
Okay. All right. And Dr. Wiley, I think that's your audience for today.
Excellent. All right. And I'm David Wiley, and I'm on the faculty at Marshall University. I'm from Barboursville originally, but living in Taze Valley now. So, all right. Well, I kind of organized several kind of demonstrations that I'd like to share with you, just to give you a sense of what really is the state of the art going on right now. I guess by show of hands, how many of you have played with ChatGPT before? Several of you. Okay, great. So if you've played with ChatGPT before, you have seen what we call text generation. This is artificial intelligence that can generate text. It can answer questions. It can have entire conversations with you. It can do role plays, basically anything that involves words. A generative AI like ChatGPT can do. So you could say to it, I'm getting ready to have this difficult conversation with a person who I manage. Help role play and practice that with me. Or you could just have a conversation with it on a topic that maybe you hear about something on the news, or you see an article about it online and you want to learn a little more about it. You can have that kind of conversation with ChatGPT. I think most people have had experience kind of asking it, like, write a poem in the voice of a pirate, or write a 5-paragraph essay about this, or do that, or something else. But I wanted to show you today a slightly more complicated example of what you can do with ChatGPT. So I don't know if this is big enough for you to read or not. Are folks able to read the text on the screen here?
Yes.
Looks good. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'm just going to copy this and paste it into ChatGPT, and it basically says, I'm a high school student studying science. All right. You're my friendly patient tutor. Ask me what I want to study and wait for my answer. Once I answer, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. Then after that basic explanation, ask me about my hobbies and interests and wait for my answer. Then explain it to me again, but use one of my hobbies or my interests in the explanation. Then ask me a quiz question to check my understanding and wait for my answer and give me feedback. And then ask if I want any additional information on the topic. So let's just take this and let's go over to chat. And just see what an example of like a multi-step kind of prompt looks like this in ChatGPT. So I just copied that in there and hit enter. It says, hey, What would you like to study today? Any science topics anybody wants to recommend for what we might study together? All right, I'll say photosynthesis, because y'all are just looking at me. All right, so let's get started. It's going to explain it to me like I'm 5. Plants are like little chefs. I'm going to make this a little bigger for you there. They take sunlight, air, and water and mix them in their green leaves. And with these ingredients, they make their own food called sugar, which gives them energy to grow. And they let out oxygen. Okay, that sounds good. So what are some of my favorite hobbies? I like listening to music and playing basketball. All right, well, let's think of a plant like a basketball team. To win a game, the team needs players like water and carbon dioxide and a coach, the sunlight. The coach shows them how to work together. When they work together, they score points, sugar and food that help them win. And they share their excitement with the crowd by giving the fans oxygen to breathe. Or, in music terms, a plant's like a band. They need instruments and a conductor. They make a beautiful song. All right, so so it's giving me some examples of how that works. What are the 3 main things a plant needs to do photosynthesis? So let's be partially right here. Let's say we need water and sunlight, and then let's say, well, first let's type it correctly here. And we'll say dirt. Okay, got it partly correct, but instead of dirt, it needs carbon dioxide. So the 3 things it needs are these. You like some extra detail, maybe a little bit deeper than the like your 5 version. So we could keep going here, but really what I wanted to demonstrate for you is that if you've got a learner who is either struggling with a topic, or if you've got somebody who has really kind of mastered it at the level that you're going to be able to cover it, and they'd like to go deeper, but of course you can't do that with full class. ChatGPT is just a really nice way to differentiate instruction for people who need additional explanations or who want to go deeper or want to explore their curiosity. And it's more than just, type in one sentence and hit enter. You can give it these longer, more complex prompts that can generate this more interesting and useful behavior. So any questions or comments about this before we jump on and look at something else?
So Dr. Wiley, just probably some very elementary questions for you. So the version you're using, is there a difference between the free version and the purchase version?
No, not for what I'm doing right now, no.
Okay. And I know there's other types of text generative AI out there, but is Copilot similar to what you would get from ChatGPT?
Yeah, there are a handful of them that are fairly similar. There's ChatGPT, there's Copilot. Actually, let's write them down here so we can see them all. So there's ChatGPT, Copilot is another. That's the one from Microsoft. There's one called Gemini, which is the one from Google. And then the other one that most people will have heard of in this area is one called Claude by a company called Anthropic. But they're all pretty similar. I think the consensus currently is that ChatGPT is kind of the best of them, but they're all so good that it's kind of a matter of kind of taste or preference. Like if I'm using it to write computer code, which we're going to talk about in a minute, I would typically use ChatGPT to do that. But if I was using it to help me like write a grant application, I was writing a lot of prose with AI, I would probably use Claude just because I like the prose that it writes better than I like what comes out of GPT. But that's a personality thing, if that makes sense.
Right. So going back to the type of whether it's a free or a paid program, what really guides you to the point that you've got to move into the paid program?
All of the programs, even for the free version, are typically going to require you to create a login. And they're going to do that because on the free version, they're only going to give you so much usage every 24-hour period. So It might be after 10 minutes or after 20 minutes, it's going to say, hey, that's all that you can do for free today. You either need to wait until tomorrow, or it might be wait for an hour, but there's going to be some kind of limit put on the free version. Not so much in the functionality of what it can do, but maybe how much you're able to do in a given period of time. If you want to do more than that, you end up juggling a lot of things, but you can use the free ChatGPT until you run out of, until you hit the limit for the day, and then you can bounce over to Copilot and log into your free version there and use it till you run into the free limit for the day, and then open up Gemini and use it until you hit the, do you know what I mean? You can kind of bounce around from one to one to one if you need more. But for most of these, the paid version is going to cost you $20 a month, somewhere in that neighborhood. Unless you wanted to do like a school-wide or a county or district-wide or other kind of license like that, then you can get the price way down on that.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Wiley.
Please. And please call me David. Only my mom calls me Dr. I don't even let the students call me Dr. Wiley most of the time. So.
All right. Any other questions on text generation? You guys are quiet this morning.
They are. They are. Well, so image generation is another thing that ChatGPT can do, or that generative AI can do. I was recently up at West Virginia Northern Community College, and their mascot are the Thundering Chickens. And so I asked them for an idea for an image that we could generate. And they said, how about the Thundering Chickens fishing? And so I typed that in, and these are some of the images that I got from that exercise. But if we just jump over into the Explore tab, we can see images created by lots of people from all over the web. And if we click onto them, you can see basically a person just said, this is the prompt that they typed in. Attach media, stars being drained from the night sky, make the stars a face and the sky cosmic. They typed in those words and it generated this image. So you can just describe the image that you want to see and you can see it. I'm not going to generate these right now because they do take a minute or two to generate, and we're trying to only spend 15 or 20 minutes together. But just to give you a sense of some of the kind of images that you can just type in a few words and have the AI create an image. Everything from photorealistic to cartoony to, I don't even know what this one on the left, these glass buildings, I'm not even sure how I would describe that. But sometimes if you're looking for an image to use in a presentation or in a class discussion, you spend a couple minutes looking for it and you can't find what you need, you could pop over to a site like this and just type in exactly what you want and have AI generate it for you and use it that way. There's a lot of work being done on audio generation as well. So this is being able, for example, being able to type in any kind of text that you want to type in and then get that text turned into speech that you can listen to. I'm not sure why that's taken a minute, but we'll load this up over here while we're waiting. So on the audio generation side, you can type in text and get speech out the other side, but you can also type in text and get music out the other side. Now, let me make sure. I don't think I shared my audio with you when I shared my screen just a moment ago. So let me do that. And then, so here are songs that people have created just by typing words in at the bottom. Like create me. So here's another example from when I was at West Virginia Northern Community College. They just had a big water break in the library. And so they wanted to create a country song about a water break.
Buckets in the hallway are long gone. The hum of the heater keeps the chill withdrawn. I don't flinch when thunder rolls in the sky, 'cause this old home won't let the rain inside. It's more than wires, more than a beam. It's the life we built, sturdy as a dream. No more drips, No more darkness, no more praying through the stillness.
Okay, so I just typed in like not even a complete sentence, but like a phrase, write a country song. Well, I guess it was a complete sentence. Write a country song about, you know, water breaking into a university library the week before school starts and ruining everything. And the AI wrote the lyrics, it wrote the music, it created the song, it created the singing. Literally, I just typed in that one sentence and hit enter, and about 3 minutes later, it got out this whole song that we were just listening to. So the ability to generate music just from a text prompt. Here's a, that was, we were just looking at Suno, that's the music creation tool. 11 Labs is a tool for doing text to speech. And here's where you can play with that by just typing any text you want in here and hitting play.
In the ancient land of Eldoria, where skies shimmered and forests whispered secrets to the wind, lived a dragon named Zephyros.
And it's just gotten very, very good at producing, you know, it sounds like a real person, not like the robot voice that we used to hear when we called, you know, the bank or something. So image generation, audio generation, video generation is another, and it's the same kind of thing. You can just type in a few words and hit enter, and you'll have to wait a while. Video takes a long time to generate. But after waiting, you know, a couple minutes, you can generate a video like this.
This ocean, it's a force, a wild, untamed might, and she commands your awe with every breaking light.
So these are just some different examples of videos.
They left behind a ball today. It bounced higher than I can jump.
Again, just typing in some words and hitting enter and waiting and getting this kind of video created. Now, you've probably seen, I'm sure you'd seen text generation before, and you knew that AI could generate images and audio and probably even video. I want to show you one example here. I know we're just about out of time. Just let me show you two more things here. One about using AI to write computer code, even if you don't know how to write computer code yourself. And what I did beforehand, because this also takes a while for it to finish, but I just typed this in, create an interactive tool where I can explore and learn about supply and demand and the relationship between them. There should be controls so I can change the values and it took about 26 seconds before it did anything. Let's see here. What have I got? Oh, here we go. Took about 26 seconds before it did anything, and then it just started writing all this computer code. And again, all I typed in were these two sentences. And if we come preview this, you'll see that it created this whole interactive for me here about supply and demand, where I can turn the demand up or down and it'll update the graph for me. I can turn supply up or down. I can even implement, it gave me like different policies, like what if I implemented a price ceiling? What would happen, or put a price floor in, what might happen. And you see these values over here are updating. And again, all that I typed in was this, create me an interactive tool where I can explore these. So AI is really good at writing computer code. And then the last example I'll show you today is with some synthetic student data. So these aren't real student data, because I wouldn't want to pull up and show you real student data, obviously for FERPA and other reasons. But here I've just made up about 30 students and given them some quiz scores and midterm scores. And I've downloaded that as a CSV file. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here to ChatGPT and make a new chat. And I'm going to drag that little file with the student scores into it up here. So it uploads. And then I'm going to say, you know, analyze the student data and tell me what you find. Like, I'm not even going to direct it as to what kind of analysis I want it to do. I could, of course, I could say things like, you know, tell me the average for each quiz, or which quiz received the highest average score. Here we go. Okay, quiz scores are generally strong, average about 85 on quiz 1, 79 on quiz 2, kind of going down. The exam scores are lower. This suggests students do well on shorter, lower stakes assessments, but struggle with. So it's not just analyzing it, it's actually doing some interpretation for me as well. Top and bottom performers, who are my strugglers, who are my strong students. Are there relationships between assessments? Quiz 2 seems to be correlated pretty highly with quiz 4 and quiz 3 and quiz 4 as well. Here are some key takeaways. Exams are the main challenge for my students. They score 10 to 20 points lower. But you get the idea. Again, this is just kind of a rapid fire demonstration. But if you have some quiz data, or even if you're working in the office and you've got some purchasing data, any kind of data like that in a little spreadsheet, you want to make sure that you take student names out of it. Like I just had student 1, student 2, student 3. You wouldn't want to upload FERPA data to something like a ChatGPT. But you can just upload a spreadsheet and ask it to run analysis for you. And it can work undirected, like we saw just now, or you can ask it specific questions and get answers right back about the data that you provided it. So I know I kind of pushed through that pretty fast. I'm sorry I kept you a couple minutes longer than I promised, but I'm happy to stick around, and if you had questions or comments about any of the things that we looked at, to answer those for you.
That's fantastic. 26 minutes with you, David. Could you bring up your slide one more time?
Yeah.
And then would we be able to provide this to the participants?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Synthetic.
And there are a couple of examples of video generation too that we didn't get to look at that you could go look at. And the next slide, there's only a couple of slides in this deck, but this has the prompt that you can take and copy and paste this prompt to kick off this little tutoring session in ChatGPT. And then I've just got my email on this last slide. But yeah, I'll send you over a link to these slides.
Excellent. Okay. Before we let David go, any questions from the group? Stacy, do you have a question?
No, we were just talking about, we have used ChatGPT a lot. We were just talking about the video generation. More interested in that. I'm just gonna play around with it.
Okay. Melissa, anything from you guys?
Same, definitely we've used ChatGPT a lot, both in the classroom and, from the admin seat. The computer code is fascinating in terms of, especially with math instruction, and what the math teachers might be able to do to generate kind of interactive tools or models for their math classes. That's something that was not on our radar at all.
We were saying we could analyze, the kids could analyze their data better too with.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Mill and Trail, do you guys have any questions or comments?
Go ahead, Emily.
So I kind of just had a question from the art standpoint. AI is becoming heavily introduced into art, and it's kind of a hot topic because you get conversations on copyright, but also, is it authentic, and can that be, considered true art? But when introducing this for students as a tool, I guess I'm on the fence on how to solely use it as a tool, but also address copyright issues and not relying on it. I don't know if there's any input on that.
There are some precedents, some legal precedents, and there's also been some guidance from the U.S. Copyright Office on copyright topics, but we could probably spend a whole 15 or 20 minutes just on that. I think the short version, the short version of the state of copyright and generative AI is that The Copyright Office, everyone is in agreement that the things that you create using generative AI are not eligible for copyright protection, can't be copyrighted. So those videos that we just watched, or that song that we just listened to, the country song, none of those could be copyrighted. There is still a debate about whether it's a violation of other people's copyright to use their materials to train an AI model or to create an AI model. Some people argue that that's a fair use, and other people argue that it's not, and there's not really a legal consensus on that yet. So that's the short answer on the copyright side. I don't know if that actually addresses what you were interested in, but that's kind of what we know today, and everything else we still don't know.
Thank you.
I'd like to chime in, Emily, that I think that's a really valid discussion topic to have with your kids, as to like, what do we consider, you know, what's the line between functionality and art, and how would they define it, and would they build an ethic around it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I do have a question. We're getting ready to work on our PLC from our beginning of the year data. And so with the data analysis, I am wondering, like, what patterns, I guess if I just get in there and play around with it, what patterns would it show with the data analysis? Is there something specific I would need to look for? Or any
Well,
idea?
like, imagine that you had, you know, an assistant who was not particularly curious, but was quite capable.
Mhm.
So you could give them the data and you could say, you know, go find the answers to these 3 questions, these 8 questions, go figure this out for me.
Mhm.
And ChatGPT will do it. So if you've got your data in a spreadsheet, you can upload your Excel file, and then you could say, you could ask, you know, what are the relationships between this and that? Or I'm not sure what your PLC data look like, so it's hard for me to make up examples, but any question that you could imagine trying to answer with those data, you could just ask ChatGPT that question and upload the data, and it'll walk you through kind of its thought process of how it does the analysis and the results.
Okay.
But we
Alright,
could
thank you.
do a session on, so this was the last topic I had for y'all, is what do you want to talk about in the future? Like, would we want to do one that's kind of focused more on data analysis, and another conversation that's more focused on copyright? Are those 2 topics that are interesting to folks? Because I'm here for you. I want to talk about what's interesting and what's useful to you.
Working all morning on these P card crap. Just whenever you come in, I gotta have it over there. I'll think tomorrow.
Well, I think that what would be beneficial for me would be if we could do the data analysis, like, if we are able to upload the data and then find like the most commonly missed questions from their beginning of the year assessments, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, that sounds pretty simple. I would think it would probably be able to do that. I'm just not sure how to do that.
Yeah. Do you have some of that data that you could share with me, and then I could kind of look at it and work up a demo for you and walk you through that when we were together?
Sure, I'm in the middle of working on it right now. It's not quite ready, but as soon as I get it ready, I can send to you, of course.
Great. I think the next time we're together is 2 weeks from today. Does that sound right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe anytime before Friday, end of the week next week,
Okay.
just so I have a day or 2 to look at it before we get together, and then we can do something that's a little more hands-on about, you know, how to work with data and the kinds of questions to ask. You can have it generate charts and graphs for you, as well as just doing analysis. We can look at that. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sounds like definitely those 2 items, data analysis and copyright information, would be good topics. Okay.
All right. Well, I'll wait to receive that data, and we'll do the data analysis next. And I'll just say, thanks for letting me keep you twice as long as I promised I was going to. And it's fun to get to know you all a little bit, and I look forward to meeting a couple more times here in the future.
All right. Thank you very much, David, and thanks for everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.